Hey YouTube, welcome back to another knife review. Today I'll be showing the Kershaw Knives Atmos. Before I talk about the knife, I kind of wanted to talk about YouTube's new policies for monetization. So to be able to make money off YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and a certain amount of watch time hours. So I'm such a small channel that I haven't met those requirements. So if you feel generous, subscribe to the channel, and now I'll get on with the review. So this knife is designed by Dmitry Sinkevich. He has done multiple different designs for zero tolerance. I have a couple, I think one, maybe two of those on the channel already. So this design kind of follows his design philosophy. The lines kind of remind me of a couple other of his knives. But this is a lot smaller than those other ones. There you can see Sinkevich design. Not exactly sure on how to pronounce that or if I'm pronouncing it right, but whatever. Kai USA 8CR13 MOV and the model number, I believe. And in the corner you can see it is made in China. And just the Kershaw logo on that side. So a couple of the specs. It is overall length of 6.9 inches, a blade length of 3 inches, a handle length of 4 inches, a blade thickness of 0.1 inches, and a handle thickness of 0.43 inches. Comes in at about 2 ounces, maybe 1.9. Blade HQ had it listed as 2 ounces, but it is a very light knife due to the G10 show side and just a small steel liner on the other side. I believe it is running on bearings. Yeah, I took it apart, so I know it's running on bearings. Like I said, the blade steel is 8CR13 MOV. It is a hollow ground drop point blade, I believe is what it's called. A nice machined satin on there. The handle material is a G10 laminate, so it has this carbon fiber looking material on top. I think that's kind of the same as the material Spyderco uses for some of its carbon fiber knives. You can see the G10 layers beneath it. It has a reversible tip up pocket clip, left or right hand. You can see there's a little filler tab on the opposite side. So if you do switch it over, you can take that filler tab, and I don't actually, well, yeah, that'd be reversible also. This back screw goes through the back spacer, so that's actually one of the screws that holds the knife together. And you can see that it's a very deep pocket clip. It's also kind of thick, so it sticks out of your pocket kind of a lot. It's a little too wide of a pocket clip for me, or whatever. Kind of hard to describe that dimension right there, but you can see total thickness of the knife, and then thickness of that pocket clip right there is just kind of a lot. You can feel it in the hand, especially when you're holding it. The pocket clip takes up a lot of room. Also, this little tail right here sticks out a lot, and that definitely looks like something that'll get caught on something. Like if you're walking past like a kitchen counter or something, that seems like something that could just grab onto it and bend your pocket clip. Hasn't happened to me yet, but similar pocket clips like that I've bent. The back spacer, not exactly sure. I'm assuming it's just some type of FRN or some type of glass reinforced nylon. It's got a nice lanyard loop back here, and a nice little jimping pattern on the back, some there on the bottom too. It's got a nice oversized pivot One thing about the pivot was when I first got it, it was nice and tightened up. I'd flip it a lot trying to get it to kind of break in, get a little more smooth, because the knife wasn't super smooth when I first got it. And after flipping it for a while, the pivot loosened up on me, so I kept retightening it and putting Loctite on it, and it still kept coming loose, so I had to get some stronger Loctite. I think I was using knockoff blue Loctite, and I ended up getting some real blue Loctite, putting it on there, and ever since then it's been fine. But it did wiggle itself loose pretty easily. There was also an issue, you can't really see it, but back in the back spacer right under here where the screw attaches, I think the blade was touching the back spacer. So when I took mine apart to fix the pivot problem, I realized how close the blade was to the back of, or the inside of that back spacer, and there was a little piece, you can see the line right down the middle of the back spacer from where they injection molded that back spacer, and I think there was a little tab on the inside from that molding process, and I think the blade was scratching against there. So I just took another knife and chopped that little tab off, and I think it solved that problem. So those are just two things I'd look out for if you pick this knife up. Other than that, I haven't seen anything wrong with it. I do really like the design. You can see it's a liner lock, pretty thin steel liner. Doesn't need to be anything major for a knife this small. Really nice flipper tab and jimping on there. Really hard to miss it. You just grab it and the jimping really grabs into your hand. Move that light away a little. Well, there we go. So yeah, really cool design. I really like all of Dmitry Sinkevich's designs. All of his customs are totally insane, definitely too hard probably for a custom or a production company to make, but the shape of this knife really shows his design language. Not really fall shut or anything. The bearings, you can tell they're nice and smooth. I put some new knife oil I got on there just to kind of smooth things up, and it did help a little bit compared to how it came. But nothing major. The bearings work well. They have a steel racer between this show side, I believe, so that you're not running bearings against G10, because it would wear right down into the G10 and not be very smooth. There's also jimping on the back of the blade right here, which is really nice. Kind of sharp corners on the blade, but nothing major, not enough to cut you or anything, not very uncomfortable. There's a nice cutout right here in the handle. Nice easy access to that liner lock, especially needed on this knife because of how thin it is. If they didn't have that there, it'd be really hard to get fat thumbs like mine in to that liner lock. Nice lockup and everything. It has a kind of open track right here with the blade stop. I like the look of that. It's really easy to get down in there with knife oil. So yeah, overall, I really like the knife, especially for a really small knife, and I think around $25, $30 maybe from Kershaw. I think they really hit a home run on this one. I'll bring in a couple knives just to show the relative size. So this is the Kershaw Fraction that I did a review on a little while ago. So if you want to check that one out and see how it compares. Same handle material, same blade material, both about the same size. The Fraction has a little better action, I feel. Flips a little harder. blade falls a little smoother. Really similar in most ways because of just the whole construction being all the same materials, pretty much the same size and weight. Then here it is next to a Paramilitary 2, since that is kind of the benchmark, one of the recognizable knives. You can really tell the size difference there. It is a really small knife. Not something I usually carry every day. I usually carry a Paramilitary 2 size knife or bigger, some big titanium frame lock knives like I've shown on my channel before. So this is kind of more of a backup knife, I guess. If you're wearing shorts or dress clothes or something, you don't want a big heavy knife wearing your pants down or whatever. This would be a good option for that. And not really much else to say about it. Be sure to check out the other videos on my channel. And like I said earlier, subscribe if you want. Leave a like or a comment. And that's all. Thanks for watching.